Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In the book of Leviticus, we're in the section where the Lord is teaching the people about the difference between what is clean and what is unclean. And in our reading today, we're in the section where bodily discharges are being discussed. And it's perhaps one of the most unpleasant sections of scriptures, but nonetheless, it is very important. And I think that it can provide for us a very important lesson. You know, if you think about it, whatever comes out of the body, most things that come out of the body is gross. Not to be graphic or to be too gross, but you think about all the different things that come out of the human body. Almost all of them are considered unpleasant and unclean and gross. Let's face it, and we see how that's playing a part in the book of Leviticus, where the Lord is talking about various discharges and things that come out of the human body that not only cause that person to become unclean, but also people who touch the things affected by those discharges also becomes unclean. And this teaches us that what comes out of the flesh is unclean, and we could say even unpleasant to a certain extent. And when we think about this and compare it to what we read in Galatians chapter 5, we can see how there could be a spiritual correlation to this. Because there in Galatians chapter 5, we also read about bodily discharges, but not in the way that it's being discussed in Leviticus, but more about the deeds of the flesh that come out of the flesh. And these are very unpleasant things as well. These are unpleasant actions that come out of the body that find their source in the flesh. Here in Galatians chapter 5, we'll start in verse 19. He says, "Now the deeds of the flesh are evident, which are sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousies, outbursts of anger, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, envying, drunkenness, carousing, and things like these, of which I forewarn you, just as I have forewarned you, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God." The uncleanness that we are susceptible to express in our lives is what comes out of the flesh in these various ways. It's the deeds of the flesh that come out that causes us to live an impure and unclean life. Whenever we're walking according to the flesh and being ruled by the flesh, the deeds of the flesh naturally are discharged, so to speak. And when that happens, impurity, uncleanness, sin, all these different things that are on this list come out. And these are very unpleasant things. And these are oftentimes very dangerous things, and maybe in some cases very deadly things. And so it should show us that, we need to be very careful about what proceeds out from our bodies and what types of actions our bodies take. And it should also encourage us then what Paul is encouraging us to do in Galatians chapter 5, and that is to walk according to the Spirit. Because the things that come out of the Spirit are very pleasant, and they're pure, and they're good, and they're lovely. In verse 22, he would say, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control." All these different things that come out of the Spirit when we walk according to the Spirit are pleasant, they're beautiful, they're pure, they're lovely, they're wonderful. And so Paul's given us a contrast here in Galatians chapter 5. Do you want to live according to the deeds of the flesh? Do you want to always be just reacting to the flesh and letting the flesh express itself without any control whatsoever? Or do you want to walk according to the Spirit and let the Spirit take control and let the Spirit control the actions and the things that proceed out of you? I think when we look at the list and compare them, we would say, yes, we want the fruit of the Spirit more than we want the deeds of the flesh, and really to the exclusion of the deeds of the flesh. And so as we think about these bodily discharges and how unpleasant they are, and perhaps even unpleasant to read about, we can think about the deeds of the flesh, how unpleasant they are as well. And perhaps we'll be encouraged to not walk according to the uncleanness and the impurity that comes from the flesh, but to walk according to the beauty and the loveliness that comes by walking according to the Spirit. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.